Welcome back to Six Survival Diaries. As you all know, it's Velvet, and this episode will be referred to as We Were Raised on Lies, and We All Pretended Not to Notice. Have you ever looked back at something you completely believed as a child and wondered, how did nobody question this? Because when you really think about it, our childhoods were built on stories. Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, the Boogeyman, Jack Frost, Cupid, the Sandman, even those hilarious explanations for where babies came from. And somehow, every adult around us agreed to stick to the script. Think about Santa for a second. One man watching millions of children all year, keeping a list, checking it twice, flying around the entire world in one night with reindeer. And little me, I believed every word, not because it made sense, because the adults I trusted said it was true. Then there was the Tooth Fairy. Apparently, I'd lose a tooth, put it under my pillow, go to sleep, and some tiny magical investor would exchange it for cash. No questions asked. The Easter Bunny? A rabbit delivering chocolate. The Boogeyman? A creature whose full-time job was apparently scaring children into behaving. Looking back, that's actually wild. But as kids, we never questioned it because children trust the people raising them. And that's the part I find interesting. It wasn't really about Santa or the Tooth Fairy. It was about belief. These stories shaped how we behaved before we were old enough to understand logic. Be good or you won't get presents. Stay in bed or the boogeyman might get you. We learned reward, consequences, fear, and excitement through imagination. And honestly, it worked. Then one day, something changes. Nobody sits you down. Nobody makes a big announcement. You just figure it out. Santa stops making sense. The Tooth Fairy becomes suspicious. The Easter Bunny's schedule starts looking impossible. And little by little, you realize the world isn't exactly what you thought it was. Now, before anybody gets defensive, I'm not blaming parents. Most of them were just doing what their parents did, passing down traditions, creating a little magic, making childhood feel special. And if I'm being honest, I've caught myself doing versions of the same thing. Maybe not with fairy tales, but with softer truths, simplified explanations, little white lies meant to protect someone's feelings until they were ready for the full story. I think most of us have done that at some point, because sometimes the truth is easier to understand in stages. So no, I don't think we were raised on lies in a malicious way. I think we were raised on stories. Stories that taught us lessons. Stories that sparked imagination. Stories that made the world feel a little less confusing while people were still growing up. And maybe that's the real lesson. Long before we understood facts, we understood stories. And those stories helped shape the people we eventually became, even if one day we had to outgrow them. Now I want to hear from you. What's one thing you completely believed as a child that makes you laugh now? Let me know down in the comments. And if you have a story you'd like to share, You can always send it to the email in the description. Names, details, and identities can always be changed to keep everything completely anonymous. Because sometimes the stories people carry silently are the ones people need to hear the most. Please make sure to like and subscribe so you can stay connected for all future stories. With episode 23, I watched my father die in the hospital, and I still don't have answers. Releasing July 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Real stories, real survival, real people.